We're about to watch the parole hearing for what seems like a pretty disturbing crime. Thank you, Richard, for providing the court details on it. We'll watch the hearing, and then afterwards we'll go through all the details of the crime. But with that, let's.
All right, please introduce yourself, state your name and DOC number for the record.
Christopher Francois, 1249.
Hi, Mr. Francois, my name is Brennan Kelsey. Along with me is Mr. Marabella and Mr. Freeman will be your panel. Explain the process to you. We'll read some information to the record, have a parole interview, ask you some questions. You can respond at the end. You can make a statement. We'll take a vote. You understand the process?
Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. Lancaster, would you like to introduce Mr. Lester?
Thank you, Mr. Kelsey. Robert Lancaster. I'm here today representing Mr. Francois with LSU Parole and Reentry Clinic. With me today is Jacob Lester. He is a second-year student at the Law Center. He's worked with Mr. Francois in preparation for the hearing and worked on preparation of the packet that was submitted before the committee. Mr. Lester is a second-year student. He's not certified under Louisiana Supreme Court Rule 20. However, he is prepared to make a statement of support should the committee deem it appropriate.
Great, thank you. We also have Carrie Myers here today, Christopher Francois Jr., Deborah Francois, and Mary Francois. So we'll look like we have a couple of you guys can make a statement. So Christopher Francois, DOC number 121249. Third class offender, parole eligibility date 6/7/2023, not eligible for good time. Full term date 6/6/2048, 45 years, second degree murder. Does that sound correct? Does that sound correct?
Attempted second degree.
Attempted second degree murder.
Yep, I apologize. Attempted second degree murder. I apologize.
Yes, sir.
Okay, would you answer Ms. Freeman, please?
Okay, Mr. Francois, how old are you?
60.
Okay, and how long have you been in jail on this charge?
Almost 20 years.
Okay. And what is your level of education?
I went to the 11th grade and got my GED.
Okay, did you get your GED in prison or before you came?
I got my GED before I went in the military.
Okay, how long did you stay in the military?
About 6 years.
Okay, and you had honorable discharge?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you for serving our country. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Francois, I'm going to tell you, I've read the whole report and I've looked at it more than once and I got some notes written down. I want you to tell me what happened between you and Miss Biden.
Well, me and Ms. Vitor was dating, and I went to the store to pick up some money from her that I loaned her, but it didn't happen that way. So we got into a confrontation where I got out of hand and pulled out a gun and to scare her, and the gun went off, and I continued to hit her with the gun.
Okay, is it kind of like you wanted to be boyfriend and girlfriend and she wasn't really up to that?
Somewhat.
Okay, and you did shoot her once behind the head, correct? It just kind of glancing blow.
Yes, sir.
Did you try to pull the trigger any more than that?
No, sir.
Did you threaten to kill her over the iPhone that you had bought her?
I don't remember. I don't remember that, sir.
You know, Mr. Francois, you got a concerning history back in 1989, you got in a confrontation with some people and you shot out of your car. What was that about?
We got in a competition at a club. A cousin of mine was together with me, and we got in competition with several people, and we was outnumbered. So that's what. So that was about. So we had some guns because we felt like we was outnumbered. So that's why we had the guns. It was like 12 people against us too. So that's what we did.
Okay, did you went get guns? I mean, or you knew that y'all still had this confrontation going on and you was a little nervous that something might go down?
Well, it happened at the club, but when this guy went and get the rest of their brothers and cousins, there was like about 12 people. So then we went and get the guns.
All right. Also in 1997, you shot at another girlfriend. What was that about?
I had no recollection of that one. I went to jail. I went to jail for that because they said they seen me at the scene, which is shooting this at this person's house. But I didn't shoot that person.
Yeah, they charged you with attempted manslaughter, and you had 5 years probation, 5 years suspended.
Right.
Okay. In 2003 is when you picked up these charges. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Were you on drugs, alcohol when this went on?
Yes, sir.
What were you on, alcohol or drugs?
I did both of them.
Okay, how old were you when you started drinking?
Maybe like in high school, maybe. Something like
Okay,
that.
and what kind of drugs did you use?
Like cocaine.
Okay, how old were you when you started the cocaine?
Might be in my 20s.
Have you taken any classes with regards to alcohol or drugs?
Yes, sir.
What you taking?
Substance abuse classes.
All right. Do you go to AA and NA?
I went to AA and I didn't finish because I've been going through a lot of heart problems. I got a heart problem, and every time I get in a class, I never finish the class because I got to keep going to doctors and stuff.
Okay, I see you went through Thinking for a Change. What you learned in Thinking for a Change?
What I learned in Thinking for a Change, I learned how to think before I act, and because thinking controls your behavior. If I would have been thinking before I pulled these crimes off, I probably wouldn't have did it.
Okay. What about victim awareness? What that taught you? How you think your victim felt?
My victim felt. I think my victim felt real bad. I also learned in victim awareness that I heard it more than just the victim. I heard family and friends, everybody.
All right. You have opposition from the chief, the DA, your son Christopher Jr., and your brother Leonard and sister Mary. They're all unopposed. Where you planning on living and working if you get out?
My sister has something settled for me in Houston, Texas, and she have a business that I can go work for her.
Okay. You had 12 disciplinary write-ups. In 8/17, you had a contraband. What was that about?
Back when they were selling tobacco, I was at another camp beside the camp I'm in now. And when I moved to the other camp, they had a little bag of cigarette tobacco that was in my box. I wasn't aware of it, but it was mine because it was in my box. So when they had a shakedown, they found it, and that's what the write-up was about.
Okay. And in 2017, you had a fight. What was that fight about?
Me and a friend of mine got into an argument on the walk, and we exchanged licks, 2 licks, and the security officer told us to stop, and then we stopped, and then they wrote me up.
It's not a bad disciplinary record. Like I say, you've had 12 write-ups in 20 years, and you hadn't had none in the last 5.5 years. So obviously you must have learned something. Has you taken your, let's see. Yeah, you're taking your anger management by then. Okay, I see you got some medical condition. What is your medical condition?
Well, I got 9% heart failure, and I wear a pacemaker. I can't, I got problem breathing.
Okay. I have no further questions, Mr. Chairman. All right. We're briefly from Mr. Christopher.
Did they freeze, I think? Sometimes I can't tell. I think.
No, they're still in. No, maybe when they froze. Yeah.
Yeah, froze. We didn't hear what you all said.
Did they get disconnected?
Just hang on 1 second, sir.
Can you hear us, Christopher?
Let me get off mute.
I can hear you now.
Unmute your phone.
Unmute your phone.
It's unmute.
You're still on mute. Still on mute.
It's on mute on my side.
That is, all right. We got you. Go ahead and make a brief statement, sir.
All right. I just want to start by saying I am Chris Jr., son of Chris Francois Sr. Just to let you know, we do miss him and love him a lot. Over these almost 20 years in his rehabilitation, I did witness weekly positive, spoke with them all the time. We do have 3 grandkids that he's in their life, and he has been speaking with them on a weekly basis, staying motivating them, school, always talking good, always encouraging them. Again, my dad's always been good vibes this whole process. It hasn't been good on our side, of course, because we miss him. I miss him, of course. I do want to let you all know I will be supporting him 100%. Mentally, socially, financially, whatever needs to be done, I will be there. I am looking forward to him sharing times with his grandkids. He has 2 that he has saw and met. He has 1 he haven't, only been speaking with him. He's now 4 years old. Again, I do look forward to him sharing moments with them, as well as sharing moments with me and him as a father and son. Again, I am here to stand that I have witnessed him share love, changed, be sentimental with us, let us know he's there for us. And again, we're there for him as well.
All right, thank you. Thank you for your comments. Mr. Corey, you want to make a really brief statement?
Yes,
Okay, go ahead.
I am Sequoia. I am Sequoia Francois, Christopher Francois Sr.'s daughter-in-law. And I wanted to say that ever since I met him, he's always been kind-hearted, positive, encouraging. Our kids have a very good relationship with him, which is positive. He encouraged them. They look forward to speaking with him. They look forward to sharing their moments from school, extracurricular activities. We love him. We miss him. And the kids are just looking forward to having a physical relationship with him. And in every encounter with him, I believe that he has learned from his mistakes. And I'm just looking forward to having him in our lives in a physical sense, just not over the phone, but so our kids can have the same experience that they have with my parents and their grandmother. And we will support him 100%. We will be there for him in every step of the way.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Thank you. Thank you for your comments. Ms. Mary Francois? Got you on mute.
All right, can you hear me?
Ms. Mary,
Hello?
I can hear you now. Yep.
All right. Hi. My name is Mary Francois. I am the sister of Christopher Francois. I'm the one that he's going to be staying with. Over the course of the 20 years, I visited Christopher 2 times every year in person, spend the whole entire day with him. I've noticed the change in him over the years. I've talked with him. I've encouraged him. He's encouraged me. I run a nonprofit, a 501c3 nonprofit organization called Helping Elevate Low-Income People. A component of that organization is a program called Rescue Recovery. Rescue Recovery is a process where we take an offender from the time they get convicted all the way to a year after they get we help them, we motivate them, we mentor them, and we put them through a 10-step program so that when they get out of prison, that they can realize what it is they have to do, stay on a straight and narrow path. We give them a place to stay. We follow them all the way through past their incarceration until a year after. Then we do a graduation with them so that they can know we're here for them. And then they become mentors of other people who are getting out of the prison. I will put Christopher through that program because he has inspired me and enlightened me. And I think that he's going to be wonderful with some of the other offenders. He
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much. Thank you for your.
Can I say one more thing, please? Can I say just one more thing, please?
Yes.
Okay. While he will be staying with me, he will be working in the nonprofit. He has a love for making furniture now. And one thing we have talked about is I want him to not only make furniture, but teach some of the other people who go through the program how to also be self-reliant. Because one of the things that's hard, we find, is when they leave prison, it's hard to get employment. But if most of them can get self-employment, and Christopher does a wonderful job with the furniture. I go to the rodeo every year, twice a year, and it is wonderful. And he's going to really help motivate some of the other people who's gone through the program. So I'm going to 100% support him, put him through my program, give him a place to stay, make sure he stay on that straight and narrow path. He's older now. He's 60 years old now. Okay, thank you so much, sir.
Ward, do you have any other for?
No.
Mr. Kelsey, just to, since August of 17, when he got that last write-up, he lost his status for a couple of months from August to November of 17. He got his Class A trustee status back, and since that time, we've not had any issues with him.
All right, thank you. Thank you so much. Would you like to make a statement on your behalf?
Sir,
You want to make a statement, Mr. Francois?
Would you like to make a statement on your behalf?
yes,
Go ahead.
yes, sir. I would like to thank the parole board for having me on the board. And I assure you that I learned a whole lot from the classes I've taken in the 20 years I've been over here how not to do the wrong thing. Besides, the things I did that was wrong, I do accept my responsibility for them. Not that I meant to do them, but I did them. And I just want to thank y'all for having me on the board.
All right, thank you. Thank you for coming out. Mr. Lester, would you like to wrap up?
They asked me to go.
Yes.
Yes, I'd like to start off by thanking the board for your patience and for listening today. I want to start off by going over some concerns with Mr. Francois' past history. I know he does have his past actions and he does seem to have a pattern of behavior, but I'd like to focus on what he has now that he didn't have at those points. For starters, he's been able to receive programming while in his 20-year stay here. The programming that's helped him to address the root causes of him to keep repeating these mistakes. He's learned to control his anger and to start thinking his actions throughout more carefully. He's also had 3 new grandchildren that he's come to love and develop a new relationship that's caused him to develop a new perspective on life and trying to keep himself from making these same mistakes that has kept him from them. Mr. Francois also has developed new heart issues that have really caused him to grapple with his morality and thinking about where he wants to spend the rest of his life and who he wants to spend it with. He's talked a lot about just wanting to spend it with his family and those he really cares about. And in conclusion, I just want to say that Mr. Francois has an excellent reentry plan that includes transitional services and housing with the parole project, as well as a long-term reentry plan with his sister and her helping elevate low-income people that will give him specialized care to help him reintegrate and continue his rehabilitation outside of prison. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Now prepare to vote.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Freeman,
Mr. Myers, will y'all be able to do the interstate compact from the parole project?
Since Francois' parole eligibility date is June 7th. So if he is granted, he will start his interstate compact. And then when he's finished his programming with us, he'll be able to go to Houston.
Okay, thank you, sir. Okay, Mr. Francois, you know, you had a good interview. You kind of convinced me. I was a little concerned about your past criminal history, but you have great family support. So my vote is to grant, and I'm not going to make it conditional because I think you'll have an interstate compact, but to grant complete interstate compact to Texas, no contact whatsoever with the victim. I'm talking about a phone call or anything, and I'll vote to put you right back where you're at. Did you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Also, I do not want you to return to St. Martin Parish. Okay, that's my vote today.
right? Mr. Marabella?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Francois, I agree with Mr. Freeman. You've got a good transition plan. You've worked hard while you've been in prison. My vote would likewise be the same to Texas. I think that's a good program that you're going to. Your sister has a program there. After you complete the Louisiana Parole Project, I think that will give you the best opportunity to have a good and successful life. So good luck to you.
Thank you.
Thank you, votes to grant. Also, I'm going to vote to grant you parole. You have no contact with the victim. You won't return to don't go to St. Martin Parish. You'll work on your interstate compact, Texas. You'll maintain full-time employment. Sounds like you have a good plan. So 3 votes to grant. Today, your parole's been granted. Good luck to you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Again, it's one of those moments where I just feel like I've lost my mind. I don't know how that could be classified as a good interview. I just don't. These are the kind of things that cases that we then hear about in the paper that a parolee murdered his girlfriend or something. I mean, it's like this is one of the cases that really actually scare me, because he's got like the stalker like track record. It's very scary, like a serious temper. This is terrifying. I don't really know. These are one of the situations where it's like I feel someone should be locked up to keep the public safe. And maybe because I've been reading the court, his appeal and all the details of this specific crime, but also hearing about his track record of violence and violence against women. I mean, it also wasn't so long ago. 2003 is when he entered the plea of guilty. What he had done, he was dating her for just a few weeks, and he kind of became obsessed over her. Lent her money for a phone. Yeah, he was dating her for just 2 weeks. He felt they were dating. They weren't officially dating. They knew each other for 2 weeks. He lent her money for a phone, and then also was like fixing up a house that she was going to move into. And he wanted her to move in with him, but she didn't. And he went over to the place where she was. It's called Food and Fun, with a gun. Went into the Food and Fun and told everyone, and she testified that he told everyone, if you don't want to die, get out. He then told her, let's go ride or die. At that moment, he shot her. She was hit by the bullet. It grazed her. She jumped over the counter. Good for her. Her hero fighting for her life. Struggled for the gun. She stated that he tried to shoot her again, but it didn't work or jammed. He had gotten the gun from her. He started hitting her. Then he got the gun back and then pistol whipped her multiple times. She was able to get up and run away to the local players club, the casino next door. There are some interesting things in the case where the hospital couldn't say for certain if she was grazed by the bullet, but that she was beaten severely, and maybe that's why they couldn't tell. Let's see. Corporal Michael of the St. Martin Parish Department said that he countered Miss Vital after defendant and saw that she was bleeding heavily from several lacerations. He located a semi-automatic handgun in the dumpster, testified that the clip was broken. He did not notice any spent casings in the parking lot. Detective Mark Frederick found a spent bullet by the cigarettes behind the counter of the Food and Fund and a spent cartridge in the trash can behind the counter. He observed unfired rounds in the parking lot, but he could not recall whether he saw spent rounds in the parking lot. Then the former detective observed Ms. Vital testified that she was covered in blood and had a long grazing wound in the back that went from front to back. So the detective said there was a grazing wound. Her head and several bruises, the front and back of her head, and several bruises and cuts on her head. And she told the defendant who was responsible for the injuries. Um, he in the police station kept saying over and over and over again, so this is what he testified. So the defendant took the stand and testified. Okay, well, first let's read this from the hospital. So after the incident, Miss Vital, is it Vital or Vital, was transported to the hospital. Medical records prepared. Dr. Allen happily state that she had been pistol whipped on the head and right face and was dragged across the asphalt. Doctor was unsure whether she was grazed by the bullet or not, but the detective said that he believed that she was. The defendant testified that he pulled a gun while Miss Vital was on the phone because he thought she was speaking with the police. Oh, that's why he pulled the gun. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah. I mean, I would definitely do that. If the girl I was stalking was on the phone with the police, I'd probably pull my gun on her too. He also testified that he made a comment indicating that the customer should leave the store before he pulled the gun out, and that the gun went off when he pulled it out. Guns go off all the time. You know, they shoot themselves. It's just a thing that guns do. So I totally get that too. Defendant described what occurred next as follows. Well, I came to hit Miss Vital. She grabbed my arm. When I grabbed her arm, she grabbed the gun. Then she had the gun. She took the gun from me. Defendant testified that once she had the gun, she ran. The two made contact again, and the defendant testified that she started hitting her with his fist. He further testified, gosh, you know, I just hate when the woman I'm attacking starts fighting back. You know, it's not cool. And she was hitting me with her fist. So what am I supposed to do? So, you know, he further testified that Miss Vital dragged him into the parking lot. Right. Okay. So now he's the victim. So she's dragging. Okay, I see where this is going. Now she's dragging him into the parking lot, and he got the gun back when she dropped it during their struggle. He testified that the gun went off again. Wow, this gun. This is like a self-shooting gun. It's got like a mind of its own. He denied chasing her when she ran into the Players Club, stating he didn't go so far as the door of the Players Club. He then threw the gun to the dumpster. I don't blame him. If I had a gun that just kept shooting by itself, I'd probably throw it in the dumpster too. The defendant testified that he did not go to the food and fund with specific intent to kill her. Nope. He just went there to get his money back with the gun. And he pulled it out and it shot by itself. Man. It's scary. The idea that a man that can have that type of level of, you know, obsession over someone, to the point where they would go with the gun, pistol whip them and shoot them, and this wasn't his first offense, to be a good interview and let out. It's scary. I couldn't do that as a parole board. Like, there are certain people that certain things happen where you can feel a little bit, but like, I don't know, in my mind, people have like major jealousy issues and can't control themselves and have like the stalking problems. They only knew each other for 2 weeks. Yeah, I'll drop the link in the description. But then also, I just want to add, it's like, this is a serious crime, but I guess, the victim wasn't there, and there could be multiple reasons for it. We've seen where, but I don't even know if I heard a statement, which, right? I don't think they mentioned any victim opposition. Did I miss that part? But sometimes the victim can't be located. They don't find them. And you would think that the victim would be terrified of him getting out. And where's the assistant district attorney? It's like, this is scary stuff. You think you would show up for this, but maybe I'm just crazy, like I said. And for those of you who don't watch my commentary, I'm often, leaning towards second chances, but these are these type of tendencies, this type of case is scary to me. Just because I want to put the public safe, and I feel like this is a loose cannon type scenario. But anyways, that's just me. Love to hear your thoughts below. And with that, I'll let you go.